I hope you're all well today. Today's video is prioritising chores when you have young children. So as a mum, we have lots to do in the home and lots to keep on top of when we've got kids. But it's about prioritising those things, because when you've got young children, especially toddlers, you can't just go and bugger off and clean for hours on end. You've got to have your eyes on your kids at all times, because we know what it's like. You turn your back for even a second and that toddler is into everything. When my children was younger, I used to do the bulk of my cleaning first thing in the morning when my children were still asleep. Then when the kids would nap, I would do some more, and then last thing at night when they were asleep, I would crack on and finish off my cleaning. Even so, we still have things that we do have to do throughout the day when we have our toddlers wrapped around our leg. So it's all about prioritising those things. What is safe to do, when you've got young children. So I've put this video together to show you what I felt was important through the daytime, and I hope you enjoy. Thanks for watching.
So guys, as you can see from this footage, I have had the privilege of having my two beautiful grandchildren for the week. We have had an amazing time, and it's been so good to spend some quality time with them. I tell you what though, when you've not done it for a few years, you do forget just how hard young children can be. Wow, I never thought I'd hear the day I said that, but we've had a great time. So when my children were little, I always prioritised bedding. I only wash bedding once a week now, but when they were babies and they're in a cot or a Moses basket, they're always really quite sicky. And the last thing I wanted to do was put my baby in a sicky bed. So I have been changing the sheets on my granddaughter's crib every single day to make sure it's nice and clean. As you know, I have taught my kids how to make their bed, and I've taught them the importance of doing that every morning, because not only does it look nicer, but they can then make a decision on whether they need to put their pillowcase in the wash more often than the week or not, etc, etc. Always prioritise feeding your family. Obviously, we have to feed our kids. Do you know what? Sometimes I feel like it can be a bit of a chore as well, because the amount of cooking I have to do for us all can be quite tedious, should we say. But on this morning, I'm actually multitasking, because I'm making breakfast for everyone, but I'm also loading my slow cooker ready for tea tonight. So actually, I've done something this morning that's really going to help me out later on, and I can spend more time with the grandkids. As you can see, the kitchen was a right mess. Always keep on top of things and do things as you use them. I am trying to keep on top of all my laundry and everything at the moment. I am absolutely inundated with it all. So one of the things that I always prioritise when my kids were younger were the floors. And you might say, why would you prioritise the floors? Is it because you like them clean? Yes, do you know what? Who doesn't like a clean floor? I love to see a clean floor. But the biggest reason of all was I had elder kids when I had crawling babies and toddlers, and those older children might have had Lego that they played with. They might have had those marble runs that you play with. And my kids weren't angels. What child is an angel? They didn't always put things back like I'd like them to. And sometimes you'd come across a stray Lego brick or a marble on the floor. And if I wasn't as strict about my cleaning routine and the way I kept my floors clean, I promise you now that how long would it have been before one of my kids picked a marble up and they could have choked to death on it? And that is one of the particular reasons why I was so funny about how clean my floors were, because I always knew there would be choking hazards and things that would need picking up after the elder kids, and I knew that my younger kids were safe. So this has took me probably all in all 5 minutes to just hoover, mop and clean this table down. It is nothing. You can do certain things when you've got your young children around you. Put the baby in the Moses basket or the bouncy chair if they're happy to do so. Take your toddler with you, and do you know what? Toddlers love to help clean up. So they're safe. These things don't take long to do. The bigger jobs, they can be done when the kids are in bed, but we still have to do some things to keep on top of things. So laundry is one of them. I have got lots of laundry today. I've just checked the dryer. I've just checked the washer, and now I've put some more washing in. That's 3 loads of laundry, all within a few minutes that I've sorted out, or it's ready to go in the dryer. My toddler's with me. Well, my grandson's with me. The baby's asleep in a Moses basket. So it really isn't that hard to do. So as I've got a day off, I'm actually cooking lunch as well. We're going to have 2 hot meals today. As you can see, I like to tidy up my mess as I'm going along, but we're having a chicken dinner. So it's the older kids' favourites, chicken dinner is. So we're just cutting up a load of cabbage, red cabbage, white cabbage. We've cut the potatoes up. I've got to do some stuffing and other bits and bobs, but I'm just trying to get it prepared, ready for lunchtime, so that the kids aren't hungry. The worst thing we can do as a parent is keep our kids waiting when they're hungry, because they get really crabby, they tantrum, they get really upset. You need to have a set routine, a certain time that you have breakfast, lunch and tea within reason, and you need to try and stick to that if you can, and prepare in advance so your kids don't get overwhelmingly hungry, because when your kids tantrum, it's not very nice, but we can prevent that from happening by making sure we are organised at all times. So as you can see here, I'm just soaking my granddaughter's bottles. When I've actually dried the dishes and tidied up, I can then wash them out properly and sterilise them. So I'm trying to keep things tidy as I'm going along. Those are the things that I used to prioritise. If we had anything to eat, I would wash dry, put away the dishes straight away. If I spill anything on the floor, or the kids did, it would get mopped straight away. Keeping on top of laundry, preparing dinners in advance to make sure your kids aren't overly hungry. It's all about being routined, organised. So what we're doing now is we're just preparing some stuffing to go with the chicken dinner. So I'm just boiling the kettle. My kids like stuffing balls, so once I've made it, I leave it to cool down a while, and then I'll wash my hands, and then I'll roll them into balls. Stuffing really evaporates all the water, doesn't it? You need absolutely loads to get it to the right consistency, so it's not too dry and it's sort of not too wet. So we're going to put that aside, and we're going to leave it to cool down. And then now I'm going to wash my granddaughter's bottles out. I always made sure I had bottles made in advance, and every time the bottles were used, I'd sort of wash them and sterilise them straight away. There's nothing worse than having loads of dirty bottles and not having a clean one when the baby wakes up to be fed. I liked to be in advance with everything, organised. So I've not lost the knack of that yet. There you go. So the bottles have been sterilised. We're just going to make a couple of them up in advance. She will be due a bottle in the next hour. So I would say the water in one of the bottles, or the milk that I'm making, will have cooled down enough to give her when she actually wakes up. As you see, I put the boiling hot bottle on the windowsill out of reach of my grandson because it would be very hot. There you go, he's blowing you all a kiss. Okay, so the stuffing's actually cooled down enough now for me to actually do. But before we do that, we're just going to add the chicken to the pan, and then we're going to put that in the oven to cook. And there we go. We're going to crack on. We're making stuffing balls. So it's all about being in advance with things, being prepared, being organised, doing things before they're due to be done so that they're done on time, you know. My kids absolutely love stuffing balls. If they could have about 10 each, they would do. So yeah, today's video was about prioritising things that you can do when your children are around, about doing things that ain't going to make you wander off for hours on end and leave your kids unoccupied and not watch properly. So it was about keeping on top of things, doing things that are important. Laundry is important because you don't live to clean, you clean to live. I've stated that many times before. If I didn't clean the laundry, we'd have no clean clothes. If I didn't clean bedding, they'd be lying in dirty beds. You don't live to clean, you clean to live. I've stated that many times before. If I didn't clean the laundry, we'd have no clean clothes. If I didn't clean bedding, they'd be lying in dirty beds. If they didn't have baths and keep clean, then the kids would be dirty. If you didn't keep on top of things, things would become out of control and it would be dangerous for your kids, etc., etc. All the other things like deep cleaning, other stuff, that can be done when your kids are in bed. So it's just about making sure they're fed properly, making sure the floors are clear, making sure the dishes and things are done and things are kept on top of. And that's it really. So I'm going to finish off now by putting these shoes away in the cupboard, on the new shoe cupboard, and I'm just going to clean the floor. I'm going to give it a good hoover and a good mop. And I really, really hope you've enjoyed the video, everyone. It's not about having a prestige house. It's just about keeping on top of things. And even when you've got kids, just take the toddler with you while the baby's safely sleeping in the Moses basket to do these few things that literally only take minutes. I hope you've enjoyed.
Okay everyone, we've come to the end of the video now. I really hope you enjoyed it. Remember those few simple things when you're going about your day, just keeping on top of things, making sure the floors are clean. It's not just so that the floors look good, it's to make sure that there's no hazards on the floor. Nothing that your kids could pick up and choke to death on. It's so important when you've got young toddlers and babies, because you know what, they put anything in their mouths. You know how it is. So yeah, the rest of, your cleaning can be done when the children are napping or when they're in bed or in the morning before they wake up. But it's just all about keeping on top of things and doing a few simple things, and it can make all the difference to your life. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. You take care. Bye.